this video is going to show you some of the key features of the game and some of the parts that are a little bit difficult to show you with just a couple of people, because there's some cool stuff that needs like 30 people. Now, how much do you know about the game? Because I know he knows a ton.
I know nothing.
All right, so you get the whole spiel. See? Perfect recording. So ArcheAge is a game that's about conquest and faction. It's about building your nation. It's about taking over the world and trying to stop everyone else from also taking over the world, because, well, you can try that. So like with any good MMO, you start out with a character. You get to choose from one of the 4 different races, and the character creation is really pretty freaking awesome. And you get to change, so you've got your base presets, you get to change those presets, you can tweak those a little bit depending on what you want, and then you've got the slider menu and the customization. You can change where your jawbone joints are. I mean, it's amazing. You can change all sorts of different things. Once you've picked the face of the character that you like, you go ahead and you pick the class. Now you start out with one of 6 different classes at level 1. By level 10, you get to choose a combination of 3 different classes, and you get more choices than just these 6, and you get to pick the traits within those classes. So if you want to do a warrior that can throw a fireball, go for it. If you want to have a cleric that heals, you can do that too. It's completely up to you and the class that you want to create. Now, ArcheAge was created by Jake Song, who created Lineage and Lineage 2, and when he created ArcheAge, he really created a game for the modern Western audience. It's not your standard traditional Korean or Asian MMO. It's really amazing and so much fun to play. Now, depending on which race you pick, it says where you start. If you pick a Nuian or an elf, you're going to start on the Western continent. And as you can see here, the Western continent has a very medieval look and feel. Okay, maybe it's a little steampunk with the skyboat, but it has that sort of look and feel that you would expect to see in Europe, in most of Europe. If you select a Hariharan or a Fair, and the Fair is the character that we're running around with here, then you're going to see a much more eastern feel to the world. And you've got all of these huge vistas, tall mountains, rice paddies, houseboats, and just some amazing architecture in this area. It's absolutely gorgeous, some of these spots. Once you leave the starting 2 continents, there is the Sea of Serenity, which we also call the Sea of Slaughter, for obvious reasons I'll get to shortly, and the Land of Origin. Now, the Sea of Serenity and the Land of Origin are mid to high level PvP zones. So you die a lot in the Sea of Serenity, especially if you're like me and not very good at the whole PvP thing. But the whole point of the game, the end game, is all on the Land of Origin, and that's where you can build your castles and build your nations and take over the world. But to do that, you need to get your resources over there. So one of the cool things about ArcheAge is you get to create houses, you get to create farms, you build resource packs. All of these houses that you see here, the boats in the water, the trees, the livestock, were all created by us.
Did he just ride a cow into the sea?
He did just ride a cow into the sea.
That's incredible.
Yes.
I'm already in.
The cow actually has some very useful side products, shall we say. So you take the lumber from the trees that you create, and you build resource packs with them. And these are these that we have over here. The resource packs are what you use to build the houses, ships, castles, and they're heavy. So you can pick them up. You can only carry one at a time because they're too heavy for more than that. And you walk very slowly. You can get on a mount and you go a little bit faster. And we have some pretty fun mounts. In addition to the cow, we have a donkey. And he's really cute and fun, and he swims. But you can swim if you want all the way from Nuia to the Land of Origin. I wouldn't recommend it. You'll die on the way. So we have the ships. These ships are all player made. We've been creating these throughout the day. as we use them up, as you'll see shortly. And you can build a ship on your own if you want to. It's going to take you a very long time. You can only carry one resource pack, and you have to take it one at a time and hope that nobody takes them from wherever you stashed them. It's just not pretty. Or you can get your friends together and your guild and build it together. You can have 15 people show up, all with a resource pack, and your ship's done in 5 minutes, and it's great. Once you've built the ship, you launch it, and on the ship you have the ability for every one of your friends and your guildmates to have a job. You can steer the ship, you can climb to the crow's nest, you can man the cannons, or you can just stand there and defend from the invaders that will be bombing in on their gliders. Also on the ships, they have some underwater gear. So you can have people swimming alongside underneath the ship if you want to sort of stealth hide your numbers and just how many people you have. There's all sorts of strategies involved with decoys for pirates. But as you're sailing around on the ocean, you have to be careful about the other people that are also there. Some of them will be friendly. Some of them will be pirates. Now, pirates are outlaws. You get to become a pirate by killing people of your own faction and taking their stuff. And as the more you do of that, the more it gets reported, and then you go to trial. And you're on trial in front of a jury of your peers. That's other players. Depending on how they decide, you can go to jail. If you go to jail often enough, you'll become exiled from standard society. The NPCs won't talk to you. In fact, they'll kill you if they see you. And you can only interact with the NPCs on Pirate Island. Now, Pirate Island has a housing area and it has a farming area, and of course you can interact with the third continent, which is all PvP, but one of the key ways that pirates can get resources is by taking it from other ships. Now, the opposing factions can also do the same, so you've got a lot of people that are out for your ship and your resources as you go along in the ocean. As you can see, people can jump from ship to ship. You can take the gliders and fly over to somebody else's ship and take over their ship and start steering it. And take it wherever you want it to go. It's fun and exciting. And so you've got to be careful of the pirates in the seas, and you have to, be ready to defend yourself. So having lots of people on your ship is really useful. One dude, you're kind of screwed. And so that's a lot of the bits about ArcheAge that really makes it unique and different. And he's going to keep playing while I answer questions, if you guys have any. I know you know it all.
I have questions.
Shoot!
They're complicated ones that can't actually be answered. Like, when does it come out?
At this point in time, we're not ready to announce any dates.
All right.
I haven't answered that one before at all today.
I know, I heard. So, I was like, I don't know why I'm asking this. But I'll ask it anyhow.
Do you have any questions?
I should do. I'm just kind of watching in wonder at the moment.
You want stealth up?
Sorry, let me back up.
So one of the cool things is so a lot of the gliders are crafted, right? You get your first glider around 10, I think it is, and then you can craft the higher level gliders as you get access to them. Each of the different gliders has their own ability. So this one stealths, so you can really sneak in over the castle wall into the guy's lair. And they all you can shoot things out of the front of them, so you can attack each other with gliders, or slide into the boats. There's some scenes that we've seen where a bunch of people will jump off of ships to come take over another ship, and you come in basically guns blazing.
Yeah.
And it's really pretty awesome. You can put your resources in these crates.
Yeah.
That has good and bad consequences because it means that no one who doesn't have permission can take it from the ship unless they destroy your ship. So guess what they tend to do? Your ships go boom. That scene in the video with the ship going underwater, that's all in-game footage.
So is most of the game played out at sea then?
So a lot of the combat is both out at sea and on the land. The thing that it's a little bit hard for us to show with just a few people is the castle sieges.
Yeah.
So you can build your castle on the land of origin, and then you can tax the land around it. So you can have farms all around it and tax them and get money for them. But once every few weeks, you can be attacked. And here come the catapults and the trebuchets and the gliders and the mounted folks, and you have to defend your castle. So a lot of that is also happening on the land. And as trade caravans go across the land, because of course not everywhere is next to the sea, then you've also got PvP going on there.
Sure. You said at the start of this that this is going to kind of appeal to more Western MMO players as opposed to the more, I guess, Korean or Asian.
Yeah. It's not like, it doesn't have the grind that a lot of the Eastern MMOs do.
Yeah, I was about to say, like what kind of traits are recognized as those that appeal to Western MMO players?
So a lot of it is the grind, right? It doesn't have the grind. It's fun. You sort of, I find I level up almost by accident. Mm-hmm. I'm doing stuff and I'm enjoying it and I level up.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, I didn't have to work for it, right? You know, as you get to higher levels, you have to work for it a bit more.
Yeah.
But you get XP from crafting, you get XP from exploring, so there's a lot of different options that you can get XP from. You don't have to go out and kill things.
Are there things to kill in the middle of the ocean?
There's a kraken.
Oh, really?
That big sea monster you saw in the video coming up, yep, you can kill it. Well, you can try. It is killable.
Have you tried it?
I have not, but I have coworkers who have killed it or participated in the killing of it on the Korean servers. I've also had many coworkers who have died to it, trying to kill it on the Korean servers. There's actually a spot in the ocean near where the Kraken lives that has a lot of treasure under the water. You know all of this because it's all on your site. Yeah, it's got a bunch of treasure under the water, and you can go ahead and lift all the treasure up. Mm-hmm. But you have to dodge the Kraken in the process.
I imagine that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you guys I know this is going to sound like a really dumb question. How do you guys work out what it is that Western MMO players like versus, Asian MMO players?
We get a bunch of Western developers to play the game.
Okay.
And say, what do you like? Really, that's what we did. We also have, we're lucky enough in the case of ArcheAge that we've got sites like ArcheAge Source that are a bunch of English-speaking folks who play the game in Korea. And so we sort of troll your forums a bit. I guess we don't troll them. We scour your forums a bit to see what the players who are playing it in Korea think about it.
Sure. So is the idea for this to be, I know it's the idea of every game, but is the idea for this to be successful in the West as it is in the East? Or?
Can I hope for more successful?
Yeah.
I'd like more successful. I think that would be good.
I think everyone would like more successful.
Yeah. So it's got a ton of stuff, and it really appeals to, it's a little bit like UO, it's a little bit like the old Star Wars Galaxies pre-NGE, before that fun happened to it. And there isn't really a modern game like this in the current space.
Yeah.
So one of the really cool things about this game is that even if you never want to kill another player, you can still hit max level. You don't have to do PvP. You can craft your way up. You can farm your way up. You can build the catapult that the PvPer uses to take over the castle. So it's kind of cool.
Or you could just ride a donkey around for all eternity.
Or you could just ride a donkey around for all eternity.
A swimming donkey.
The donkey is pretty cool.
The donkey's amazing. I did see earlier someone got off the donkey in the sea, and I think the donkey drowned.
No, I think he just dismissed it.
Donkey drowned.
You drowned the donkey, Rich.
Sometimes.
Only when he doesn't listen.
There you go. So there's donkeys, there's horses, there's some beautiful white horses. Do you have an elk?
I do have an elk, I believe. There you go.
So this is one of the higher level. The elks is one of the mounts of the elves ride. No guarantees on names matching anything on ArcheAge Source. We're having independent people translate it.
Yep. So how is that going? When did you start doing that translation?
So we started translating with the launch build. We didn't actually start the translation for a few months, so it's been going on. This is our first English translated build, and you'll see there's still some Korean in it. We are going through and cleaning all of that up. So
do you have a milestone that you'd like to meet for the next build, perhaps?
Yes.
Can't give that away, can you?
Nope. I will say that our goal is to make sure that when we do release it, it is as good English as we can possibly make it.
Do you plan on bringing it to Gamescom and the Arcade Expo later this year?
We are still finalizing our plans for the rest of the year. I can say that I know where I'm going to go for beta players.
If you do go to Gamescom, you're going to swim there with donkeys.
The donkey swimming is just too much fun.
Oh, it is.
There's a lot of stuff to do, a lot of things to build. Is obviously kind of know how it works, but did you already kind of go over that? How each part is built for like a castle, the castle walls, the castle guts?
No, I didn't go into detail on that. Yeah. So there's you can actually design your own castle because you build the walls, you build the towers, you build the guardhouses. They're separate components, and you can make your own castle.
Make your own castle.
Cool. Like, you know, put the layout however you want it.
What are you restricted by in terms of design?
Space. And how many resources you have. And you have to remember that you have to hold the castle when it gets attacked, so you don't want it to be too big and sprawling unless you have, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of guild members who can spread out and defend it.
Yeah.
I like how you can adjust like the angle and direction of objects you place in the world. There's people that have taken the box object, just the regular wooden box, and have built jumping mazes out of it in the air by stacking boxes up and then removing the boxes that are underneath. The physics system doesn't let the boxes that are left crash down.
Yeah, they stay up.
They're static.
It's really cool.
So you have like floating boxes in the air. You can jump around.
I am dying to see what our players are going to create with this game. I mean, it's really sort of like, here's a bunch of tools, go to town, have fun. And just seeing what people create is amazing. I mean, we create our own shipyards here.
So what stage is this game at the moment?
So the game is live in Korea and in open beta in beta in China. And we have it running on internal. This is an internal server right now that we have it running on at Triumph. We are not yet announcing our beta dates or our live date.
What's the feedback been like from Korea so far?
Doing good. Doing good. It's been in the top 10, I think, since launch. Still is.
Depends on how
you
order it, like, and how you remove things from the list, because there are games on their list that aren't really MMOs, like kart racing games and stuff that
don't really count.
Always like number one because they're fun to play. At PC Bangs in Korea, it's just a whole bunch of guys, friends together. It's not how Americans or Europeans play games. They play it differently there. It's a social thing. Here
PC
we
Bang
stay
is a
at
PC
home.
cafe.
Sure.
Sorry.
We stay at home. No, that's cool. We stay at home and play games like normally alone. So it's a different culture, kind of.
Do you think the success of this in Korea will reflect in the West then? Or is it not
So
that easy?
yes and no. It's not exactly that easy. As you mentioned, the way that Koreans play MMOs, in fact a lot of Eastern players play MMOs or play games in general, it's a little bit different. But the fun factor is still really there. And so we think that the fun factor is really going to translate. Everybody we've seen has been enjoying the game. The folks that are playing it in Korea from the States have loved it. Our folks playing it internally all love it. So it's just a really fun game. So we think it's going to do really well in the West.
How is it different in terms of how Korean players play?
So it has to do... Thanks, Rich. Throw me off my stride there. So it has to do basically with the timing of when they play, right? They tend to play a little more in the PC cafes. They are starting to play more and more at home and with friends and family.
Yeah.
So they're starting to play more like the Western audience, but it's still a bit of a transition stage.
Sure.
And how do you plan on monetizing the game?
Making money?
Yep.
By making money?
Okay.
I'm not really going to tell you. Sorry.
Yeah, that's cool.
We're not ready to announce that yet.
Yeah, there's some things you can and can't say, but folks want me to ask.
Of course.
I have to ask.
And I can assure you that we will make sure that you guys are included in the announcement when we are ready to announce it.
Awesome. It's also bright and sparkly.
So what have the Korean players done so far that's kind of surprised you guys in terms of how they play it? Because you mentioned about the stacking boxes thing. Has there been any other examples of that?
In general, they're just super creative. I mean, they're not doing anything that I sort of go, oh yeah, I never would have guessed anyone would have done that. But just watching them group together, they're doing a lot of the sort of the trade caravans almost, and the convoys, and getting folks together and running out in the ocean and taking on the Kraken and trying to kill it and dying because they failed miserably. It is killable, it's just hard.
Yeah.
So you can see some more. We're on the continent of Harihara for this.
It does look really nice.
It's beautiful.
It does look really, really nice.
So any other questions I can answer for you?
No, do you know what? They're on. I'm kind of hypnotized by just watching this. Watching sail around, swim around.
Oh, the gliders are so much fun.
Yeah, there's a strange kind of hypnotic quality to watching this being played.
Bye guys, bye.
Because you go out to the E3 halls, it's all like, oh, loud noises, oh man, explosions. But this is tranquil. This is cool. I might just stay here all day.
Soon, so I have to stop recording. But I appreciate your narration.
No problem.
Very helpful. At least I don't have to say everything. People don't have to listen to me say it. Or listen to my dumb podcast. So.
It's not that dumb.
It's kind of dumb. Especially when it's just me. Vito's there, though. It's much more helpful when you have a conversation between two people.
Podcast, well, it's just easier when you're talking to someone or interacting with someone else. It was funny when we were practicing and going through everything. It was like just us talking to each other, and it's like, okay, it's not so easy. We would walk around the office literally and go, hey, you got 15 minutes? Come, just stand here and let me talk at you.